What's good, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of the Killstreaks and Kickoffs podcast with myself, Sam, Rubix. We will be joined in a little bit by Nick and Noah. They are back this week for a special episode where we're going to be doing a NFL playoff bracket fill out between the three of us. So stay tuned for that. But did want to say here in the intro as well, we are on Spotify. Look up the podcast, Killstreaks and Kickoffs podcast on Spotify. You can find us there or in the link in the description below, alongside all of my other socials that will be linked there. But let's get right into this. We explain everything and how that's going to work, but let me roll that intro first and we'll get right into it. We are live. All right, everybody. Welcome to episode 6 of the Killstreaks and Kickoffs podcast. We are joined once again with Nick and Noah today. How are we doing, fellas? How are we doing on this fine? What is it today? Thursday?
Thursday afternoon. It's a little bit of a different setting. Usually it's real dark out when we're recording. Got some light in the background. It's kind of messing up my camera. Usually you don't see us three in the daytime. We're more of nighttime lurkers, but we had to get the recording done early.
Yeah, we are more of a nighttime lurkers, but I'm glad to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. We had to pop out in the daytime to get this out before, the weekend gets started. A big weekend we've got ahead of us. But first and foremost, what we wanted to do for this episode, and I know I mentioned it on the last one, but we're going to be doing this episode strictly dedicated here to the NFL and the NFL playoffs that has just became finalized as of this past weekend here. So what we're going to be doing is filling out a bracket here. So I'll switch over to the screen share, and as you can see, I've got an NFL Super Bowl Challenge bracket right in front of us here. And so what we're going to be doing is a joint bracket between the three of us here. So for each game, we're going to go through, each give our thoughts on who we think is going to win. You can pick in here to see who will move on, and then we'll be able to assess and assemble a finalized bracket between the three of us here. If there's any discrepancies between what each three of us think is going to win, it'll go to a vote, like a 2-1 vote. That way there'll be no ties, and one team will be favored between the three of us to move forward, or we'll just all agree on whoever we think is going to win. So yeah, well, we're just gonna kind of hop right into this here. I don't have any notes about this, like any notes about the game specifically, so I think we're just kind of going off of aura and our gut feelings here, and kind of freestyle this episode. So a little bit different than the past, but yeah, I mean we're just gonna get into this, and starting with the first game, we'll just go top to we'll do the AFC here. Or I guess we'll do round 1 of the AFC, round 1 of the NFC, so on and so forth, and then yeah, move on. But any questions, fellas?
No, I'm ready.
Good to go, man.
All right. So yeah, first, like I said, we'll start with the AFC, and we've got the Chargers versus the Texans, the Houston Texans, LA Chargers here. So we've got two I'd say pretty similar squads here. I mean, the 4 seed and the 5 seed, relatively close. Chargers are in at the wild card, obviously, and then the Houston Texans won their division. But yeah, I think they're relatively similar skill-wise. I mean, the Chargers in a division with the Chiefs, Chiefs and Broncos, so it's a little bit harder to kind of get easy division wins like the Texans do. But I still think this Houston Texans team is a good roster. I mean, I'm a CJ Stroud believer. You guys know me as an Ohio State fan. I love CJ Stroud. And yeah, I think they haven't been having a great season. But, I mean, if you look back at last year, it's not like this season is that much worse than what they were doing last year. I mean, last year it was great because it was a rookie year for Stroud, and he played great, and people were just surprised. And now they kind of had some expectations, and I don't think he necessarily exceeded those expectations. So that's why I think there's kind of a negative connotation around the Texans, but I still think they have what it takes. So I'm personally going to submit my vote for the Texans here. But what are you guys thinking for this matchup?
I'm going to go Texans as well. I think the Chargers are good, but I think CJ Stroud's I think having that kind of playoff experience under his belt already, I think is going to help him a ton, and I think he's going to definitely get the job done.
Uh, so it's already a 2-0 vote, but I'm gonna go Chargers here.
Yeah.
I think that CJ Stroud is definitely having a slump season as a sophomore, but I'm taking the Chargers here with the better quarterback, in my opinion, Justin Herbert. Lesser known weapons, but Lad McConkey is coming on with over 1,000 receiving yards on the year, so he has been a reliable target. And also J.K. Dobbins also being back in the lineup is also great. But on paper, I mean, they're about dead even in terms of offense. I mean, Chargers are ranked 20th in offense, and Texans are ranked 22nd. But the key difference is I think the Texans do have a little bit of better defense, which they are ranked 6th compared to Chargers' 11th ranked defense. But in terms of who my gut feeling is, it's going to be Chargers. And it's quite surprising to me, too, because the Chargers actually minus 2.5 favorites against Texans, even though Texans are at home. But yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers here.
Got it. Okay, well, yeah. Then we will have the Texans moving on according to me and Noah's majority vote here in a 2-1. But I totally get, like, this is one of the closer games in my head in terms of like who I think would move on. Like I could easily see either of these teams winning.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, but we'll just do Texans here for the sake of majority. But moving on to the next game, we've got Steelers versus Ravens, and they've already played twice this year. Um, they're 1-1 in their divisional matchups this year. One at home, one away for each of those teams, obviously. Um, but this time they'll be in Baltimore, and so I think I'm gonna have to give the edge here to the Ravens. I think they're playing well. I think Lamar probably should be MVP. I don't know if he's actually gonna get it, but I think he deserves it this year. I mean, yeah, I just think Lamar is going to take over. I think the Steelers are on such like a losing streak and a slump, and I think they peaked way too early. Not even that necessarily. They peaked too early, but they also hadn't played a whole lot of competition until like the back half of the season this year, and so I think once they kind of got into those tougher opponents in games that they were playing in the second half, they kind of showed more so of their true colors. So I just think Baltimore is the better team here, and I'm gonna go Ravens here for this one as my vote.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens too. I know initially, I think, what was it, 2, 3 episodes ago, we thought that the Steelers
Yeah,
might go ahead and clinch the division, but as these last couple of weeks, the Steelers have really kind of like you said, they've started facing opponents that aren't just going to kind of roll over and give them a
yeah,
win. If anything happens, like if they fight back, it's kind of more of a game, and the Steelers just haven't been able to come up clutch. Russell Wilson is still playing pretty good, I'd say, but they don't just look as solid as the Ravens do. I think the Ravens are playing their best football at the exact right time. I mean, they look scary right now. I mean, they completely demolished the Steelers. What was that, 2, 3 weeks ago? I think the Ravens look very scary. If Nick disagrees, I think we might just have to kick Nick off this podcast because I think this one's clear. I think the Ravens are going to win. If the Steelers win, that's great because Steelers are my second favorite team. I'd like the Steelers, but I don't think they stand a chance.
Yeah, well, you guys won't have to kick me off because I'm going to go with the Ravens here. I mean, this has come pretty easy, in my opinion. The Steelers have lost the last 4 games, and on paper, the Ravens are just the better team overall. And also, if you take it into account, the Ravens will be without Zay Flowers this week, but Lamar will not have a problem spacing the ball around and torching the Steelers defense. And just to put it on the podcast, they are currently minus 9.5 favorite against the spread.
yeah. And I mean, Lamar has plenty of experience with throwing to scrubs, so I mean, I think
Yep.
the Zay Flowers injury is rough for him. Obviously, you want to have as many weapons available as possible, but he is no stranger to dealing with situations like this, so I don't think it'll phase him a whole lot in a game, especially against somebody like Pittsburgh. So All right.
And I'm curious, wait, before we move on, I'm
Yeah.
curious how our friends Weston and Drew think of this matchup because I know Weston is very pessimistic against for his Steelers, and Drew's a little bit more optimistic. So I'm gonna have to ask them after this podcast what they're
Yeah.
feeling.
We'll have to get their thoughts on it. And Drew and Weston, if you guys are watching this, go on ahead and leave a comment, see if you agree with our prediction. But yeah,
And smash that like button.
smash that like button while you're at it down there below the video. But anyways, that's what we've got for the Steelers-Ravens game. Ravens moving on there in a 3-0 sweep vote between the three of us. But moving on to the last AFC first round matchup here, wild card round. Between the Buffalo Bills and the Denver Broncos. I think this one will be the biggest blowout, in my opinion. I don't think there's really a whole lot of chances for Denver to win this game. I mean, I think they've had kind of not a fluke season, but just a lot of things have kind of gone right for them this year that kind of put them in this position. And it's not to discredit like the season that they're having by any means, but when you're going up against teams like the Buffalo Bills and top teams in the conference, they're not going to let things like that go right for you. So I'm just going to keep this one simple. I think the Bills are probably going to have their way with them. I don't know what the line is for this game. Here it's looking like,
So 47.5.
well, like
Oh,
what? Or
spread?
sorry, yeah, spread for the
Minus
Bills.
8.5.
Okay.
47.5.
Bills minus 47.5. But yeah, no, I'm gonna just lock in Bills. I think they're gonna win this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bills as well. I'm gonna keep this one short and simple. Denver Broncos. I've been saying that they're frauds. Every single week I've been on. I still think they're frauds. I don't think their rookie quarterback is good at all. I think they're having a fluke season. I mean, that's all there is to it. I mean, they lost the Bengals, and I think the Bengals would have been, way better in the playoffs over them. Of course, the Chiefs are selling. Roger Goodell needs to check that out to have the Bengals not be in the playoffs. But yeah, Broncos don't deserve to be here over some other teams, and I think they're going to get cattywamped.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go Bills here too, but I think that it's gonna be a closer game than we expect. It's not gonna be like extremely close, but I think it's not gonna be a blowout either. I think they're capable of covering the spread, the Broncos, but yeah, I mean, you're going against arguably the MVP of the year and Josh Allen, a better team, and yeah, I agree with Noah. They're kind of having a fluke season. And though I think that Bo Nix is better than what some believe.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we've seen Buffalo play down to their opponents a lot too. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like they may not be able to just put their foot on the pedal and like blow them out by any means. So I could see that. Like I mean,
And you gotta take into consideration what kind of weapons Bo Nix is surrounded with too. I mean, his best receiver is Cortland Sutton, which is a great receiver, but he's no like I would say Justin Jefferson or anything. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, of course. But okay, well, yeah, that's what we're gonna go with then. The Buffalo Bills will win in that for our predictions in another 3-0 sweep between the three of us here. So that's the wild card round for the AFC. Let's jump over to the NFC here, and we've got the Rams versus the Vikings here. Again, these 5-4 seed games are a little bit closer in my mind in terms of what teams could win, but I think Minnesota is the best 5 seed we have seen in a long time. I'm not as confident in them in general to make like a crazy run, but I do think that they probably come out on top here against this LA Rams team. I don't really see the Rams being able to put together like anything crazy. I mean, I like their offense. I think Stafford is a good quarterback and underrated in terms of like people's respect that they give him. But I think the Vikings, if they don't play like they did against the Lions last week, or I guess this past weekend, if they don't play like that and they go back to what they were doing on the year, I mean, this team is 14-3 right now. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So um, Yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings here in this one. Again, though, I don't know if this one's as much of a blowout. Obviously, I think the Vikings are the better team, but I don't think as much as a blowout. But I will pick the Vikings as my vote here.
And I'm going to leave this one to Nick to decide because I think the Rams are going to take it. Let's not forget that the Rams beat the Bills. Let's not forget that the Rams have had pretty close games in every single game they lost. I still think the Rams, and I've been saying this as well, I don't think their record reflects how good they are. I know the NFC West wasn't really that good this year, but Stafford has experience in the playoffs, and that's what always draws me back to like picking a team to win because playoff football is different than any other type of football there is, especially in the NFL. Stafford's won. He knows how to win in the playoffs. You know, Sam Darnold, he's having a great season, but he's never really proved himself at all. I mean, he could get under these lights and all these fans, and he could kind of just freeze up. I don't think I'm not going to I'm kind of going to use what you said. I'm not going to discredit the Viking season, how you kind of said that against Denver. I'm discrediting Denver season. I am not going to discredit the Viking season. They've got a really good season, but I just think the Rams have an edge in this. Kind of just even. I mean, it's the same head coach. McVay is still there. I mean, he's the coach that had Stafford. You know, and they know how to win. Even if it's not going to be glamorous. I mean, the Rams are never really a team that completely blow somebody out. But their offense is just good. Like they know how to stay in a game, and I think them knowing how to stay in a game all the way through 4 quarters is going to give them an edge to win the game rather than kind of fall off.
Yeah, I mean, this is really just a coin flip for me at this time. I mean, I want to lean the Rams and the veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford. Been to the playoffs, who's won a Super Bowl, and Noah has a good point where Sam Darnold has never been in this position, and he might freeze up when the lights shine on him. But I'm just gonna lean towards the better team and the better record, just to play safe here. I'm just gonna choose the Vikings. I think they have the better defense, and I think Brian Flores has a great defensive scheme, and he's really gotten a lot of looked at head coaching opportunities now because of his great defense. And I don't think that the LA Rams defense can keep up with the Vikings offense. But again, the Detroit Lions, I mean, if they play like that this upcoming week, which I don't think they will, I mean, then they're going to have a lot of problems. But it really depends on what kind of Sam Darnold we're going to get in the wild card.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well, then that'll be another split vote for the 5-4 seed round, but it is going to result in Minnesota moving ahead on our bracket here. I think that one's going to be close. I mean, looks like Minnesota's only favored by like a point and a half. Yeah, I think that'll be a close one. Definitely really interesting to see. But there's the first one. Let's move on to Washington, the Commanders versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, and this one as well seems like a relatively close one in my head. Because I mean, obviously Washington has a better record, or do that? Yeah, they're what 11-6. Tampa Bay is 10-7, something like that. So I think they have a slightly better edge in terms of record and regular season, but there is like an aspect of winning your division, I think, that gives you like a bit of confidence and kind of like makes you feel like you're that team. And so, yeah, I think both of these teams could easily win. I'm gonna go personally with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this one. I think Baker Mayfield has completely and utterly stepped up as a player this year. This year specifically, I think in his time in Tampa Bay in general, he's been really found a second life in his career. But I think this year, it does feel like he's really stepped up as a leader and as a player, and I think he has that experience to be in like a veteran quarterback conversation here almost, which is crazy to say because it feels like yesterday Baker Mayfield was playing in college. But it's crazy, but I think it's true, and so I'm gonna give this edge to Tampa Bay. In this, I like their offense. I'm a Bucky Irving meat rider, and I love the offense that they have, their attack, and they also, I mean, I think Tampa Bay steps up in big games when they need to, and so I'm gonna go with the Bucks for this one as my vote in this matchup.
I guess this is going to be up to Nick again because I'm going to that kid in Washington. and Jaden Daniels is going to take him. The Bucks are good, and I agree with you. I think Baker is really like redefined himself, and he's doing good. And that's not to say, maybe in the future that he has a run in the playoff with this team, but I just don't think this is the year. I think there's so much momentum that Washington's riding on, especially like we said, they had a better season. I mean, they have all this momentum. They really have faith in their quarterback, and I think that helps Jane Daniels more. Like when you think of the Buccaneers, you think of Baker Mayfield, and like you said, he's kind of like a veteran now. And when you think of Washington, I mean, you don't really think of anybody else besides Jaden Daniels. I mean, he has obviously scary Terry, and he's got some weapons, and their defense is pretty solid. But I mean, when you hear that name, I mean, Jaden Daniels, I feel like if you just say the word quarterbacks, he's going to come to your mind instead of Baker. And I think that's like helping him out, kind of not have as many nerves, because I feel like everybody, well, I guess you could say he's being built up, so maybe he's nervous, but I think he has so much confidence in himself right now because of how well he's performing and how his team's standing behind him and having the better record. I mean, they're in a harder division than the Bucks were. I think the Commanders are going to take it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lean with Sam again here, and I'm gonna go with the Bucks. I mean, on paper, the Bucks are third-ranked pass offense and fourth-ranked run offense compared to the Commanders, which are 17th ranked pass and third-ranked rush. And the two similarities I saw were like the two top pass catchers on each team were their wide receiver ones, Terry McLaurin and Mike Evans, which they both eclipsed a little over 1,000 yards. And then their next weapon, the next top receiver, were their tight ends, Zach Ertz and Kate Otten, which had 600 passing yards. But so what I lean towards in this game is who has the better rush offense and the rushing yards. And currently, Jaden Daniels leads his team with 891 rushing yards compared to the Bucks, which have the GOAT, Bucky Irving, with over 1,000 rushing yards. You know how I mean? So I am a Bucky Glazer as well, and you know me, I love Jaden Daniels, but I think Baker Mayfield has been having a great year with the Bucks and Liam Cohen's offense, and I don't see that. Oh, you can go ahead.
The one thing I will say, because I know I can't change Nick's mind, because I know Nick has a thing against the Buccaneers. Like, if I asked Nick who he's more scared to play, the Commanders or the Bucks, he would say the Bucks, because apparently the Eagles just can't beat the Bucks. But if the Bengals, they're in a do or die game, and you say, oh, they're playing the Buccaneers and they're playing the Commanders, who are you more scared of to play? I mean, if I'm the 49ers, we're playing the Bucks or the Commanders, I'm way more scared to play the Commanders than I am the Bucks. I mean, I feel like you can win against the Bucks, but I feel like the Commanders are so, I mean, they can just get you. I mean, they can just run away with the game. I would feel so much more scared to play the Commanders, but
yeah, maybe I just have a different perspective because the Commanders are in the NFC East and I'm an Eagles fan. So we faced them 2 times already, and I've seen both games. And so there was a scenario where the Eagles could have possibly played Commanders in the wild card over the Green Bay Packers, and that's what I was hoping for. I'd rather play the Commanders over the Packers in the wild card. So this is what gives me the edge, and plus Tampa Bay being at home and all that, and the Eagles just struggling to beat the Buccaneers. Yeah, so it's a pretty easy decision for me here.
Okay. Well, another split vote here, but it's going to result bottom line with the Buccaneers moving on here in this bracket to the divisional round. And then we've got the last game here of the wild card round. It is your Eagles, Nick, versus the Green Bay Packers. And I know you mentioned that you would have rather played the Commanders than the Packers. I think that, yeah, I'm going to agree. I think that's rightfully so. I just think, I mean, I agree, Noah. I think Jaden Daniels is really bright kid. I think he has a bright future in this league. He's almost like, he's not Lamar caliber by any means, but he's like a mini Lamar almost. And I think this Washington Commanders team has a lot to build off of, but when comparing to teams like Green Bay, I do agree that I think they're in a better spot right now than Washington is in terms of like just pure like caliber of team and strength wise. So I do get here the fear in the Green Bay Packers for sure. I just think with the way that the Eagles have been playing, they've looked good this year. they've ironed out issues, and I think that's a really big thing that has spoken volumes or speaks volumes about a team, especially in this day and age. It's just ability to like adapt in it throughout the season and go into the playoffs with a team that you're confident in. I know a lot of people were criticizing like their passing attack um, throughout the year, and you may have mentioned it earlier on in the pot or in previous episodes. They just haven't like it hasn't been a lack of a passing attack. I mean, they have the weapons in AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. In that offense, and obviously Jalen Hurts, a great quarterback, he does not struggle to get that ball around to them. But they also have a lot of elements. I mean, Saquon Barkley on this team has completely elevated this offense. I mean, 2,000 rushing yards, Saquon 2K. Um, you just have more weapons and more flexibility that you don't need to do things or lean on certain things more. And I think this Eagles versatility will be no match for the Green Bay Packers right now. I think I they do kind of fall into that like almost younger inexperienced with, I mean, Jordan Love. He did play a playoff game, but obviously nowhere near as much experience as guys like Hurts with experience in Super Bowls. And yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles here in this one against the Packers for my vote.
I know I'm going to go 0 for 3 in the NFC because I know Nick's going to take his Eagles to go through, but I'm not. Now, if the Eagles win, I will definitely have them beating Washington because I think Washington's going to win. I think they'll make the NFC Championship, and I think we'll get into that later, but I think there'll be a battle in the championship. But right now, I'm going to go I'm going to go Green Bay, and the reason I say that is because, like I've said before, I feel like the Eagles either make it into the playoffs and they go all the way, or they lose in the first round. And I don't watch the Eagles enough to know, and I just haven't really felt any like. I feel like in the previous year when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, I heard so much about the Eagles. I was hearing about them, like how good they were, how scary they were. And I feel like this year I just haven't really heard anything about the Eagles. Whether that's just going online, listening to random short clips from other people talking about it. I just haven't really heard about the Eagles. So I feel like I haven't heard anything scary. And I think Jordan Love is a very underrated quarterback. So I think I'm going to take Green Bay. I know I'm not going to win this vote. But obviously, if the Eagles do win this round, I will have them going far. But right now, I'm going to Green Bay.
All right, yeah, I mean, you're right. I'm going to take the Eagles here. I mean, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I don't really see a way that the Packers could totally beat us unless it's self-inflicted injuries that the Eagles put upon themselves. I think that Sam was right that we have too many weapons to really contain. I mean, we already faced the Green Bay Packers week 1, and we beat them narrowly, but I think there was a lot of self-inflicted mistakes that we made during that game, and I think we've definitely improved, especially Jalen Hurts, who has been less turnover prone. The real question is Jalen Hurts going to be ready after being in the concussion protocol for about like 2 or so weeks? Also to mention that the Packers quarterbacks Jordan Love and Malik Willis both got a little tweaked in the last week of the season. So there's going to definitely be some highlights or headlines around those quarterbacks. But and also Christian Watson, who tore his ACL last week, they're not going to be with him, which is basically their vertical threat. Also, the passing offense for Green Bay has really taken a turn. They're more run heavy. I'm pretty sure they're like 51% rush to pass ratio. So they're going to lean on Josh Jacobs to lead their offense. And I think the Eagles defense, especially with our linebackers that we have, are just too good to really just rely on the run. And I think Jordan Love is a little bit more turnover worthy to rely on that pass. And the Eagles also being at home field advantage, I think this is pretty easy for me as an Eagles fan to lean Eagles. But as I was saying earlier, that if it was the Commanders, I'd be more comfortable playing the Commanders than the Packers. I think the Packers still have that scary element to them.
Okay. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have the Eagles moving on then in another 2-1 vote. No, we may look like idiots. No, who knows? Um, but based off of this, this is what our divisional rounds are looking like here for the AFC and the NFC as of right now. So we'll jump back over here to the AFC and pick these two games. Then we'll come back to the NFC after that. But theoretically, in our bracket here, we would have the Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs at the 1 seed with that first round bye um, there. So, yeah, we've got the Chiefs against the Texans here. I think, yeah, what, yeah, right. Who picked Texans? Me and Noah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I wanted to make sure I didn't pick the wrong one when I did it, but yeah. So we've got Houston Texans versus the Kansas City Chiefs. Uh, yeah, I don't see a world where the Texans win this game. Unfortunately, I think the Chiefs are just like too much of a powerhouse right now. Um, you know, whether you are a conspiracist that the Chiefs are paying off the refs and you know guaranteed all their wins. Regardless of that, I think they just look like the better team that wins games. I mean, they haven't looked pretty, to be completely honest, in like all of their games. I mean, they've had some close ones. I've talked about that on the show, how they've had a lot of games decided by one score or less. But I mean, it's the NFL, and it really comes down to at the end of the day, like who wins the game and who is good at managing their win condition and executing on that condition. And I think the Chiefs are one of the best in the league at doing that here. I hope the Texans win. They're my team that I want to win it all. Ideally, if if I could pick any of these teams here, as a Stroud fan, I've got a jersey upstairs for Christmas. I won't be wearing it, because I can't be wearing the Christmas gift. But I will be supporting the Texans in this game, but I am gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs here. Just not a whole lot else to explain. I think I'm gonna go with them for my vote here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. The only thing I will say, because I'll keep mine short, is I will not be surprised if the Texans do win just because of kind of how lackadaisy the Chiefs have been playing. Like you said, it's been a lot of close games, and they've been winning. They've been playing winning football because they've been winning, but it hasn't been pretty. So I would not be surprised if I see the Texans win. But just as of right now, I'm going to go the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to Chiefs as well. And I am a total conspiracist with the refs. So, I have to go Chiefs here. I don't see how they lose to the Texans, especially with the refs on their side.
Yeah, okay. Well, we got our first 3-0 sweep between the three of us again here in a while. So Chiefs will move on from that game in this bracket. Now we've got the Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills here. And I think this one is the best match that we will see so far at this point in our pickings here. I could see this one going either way. I think this will be a kind of a classic matchup. I mean, we've seen classic matchups between the Ravens and the Bills. I mean, they've got a rivalry. I know Anthony, our Ravens friend, absolutely despises Josh Allen. I actually like the guy. I think he's got a cool story. But I don't know. I'm really torn here on who I want to go, but I think I think I'm gonna lean with the Bills here in this one. I could definitely see the Ravens winning it. It's gonna be whoever shows up on that day. But I really believe in the Bills to make a run in this Super Bowl, or sorry, in this playoffs. And I think they get a little bit of momentum with that Denver win. I don't think the Ravens gain as much from like beating the Steelers. I mean, they played them twice already. They know what they're getting in a game versus the Steelers. So I don't think you like get a whole lot of momentum to roll with from a win like that. And I think the Buffalo Bills are just going to be hungrier here. I mean, they've played in some bang out games this year against teams, shown that they can win those games. And Buffalo, like I said, they play down to their opponents a lot, but I think they also play up to their opponents a lot when needed. And I think the Bills are going to come out with this one if I had to pick between the two right now. But I can see it going either way. But I'm going to lock in the Bills for my vote.
I'm going to go Ravens because if you recall 2 weeks ago, I made my Super Bowl pick being the Ravens and the Lions. And I'm still going to stick true to that. I think that's what we're going to see. I think Josh Allen is a great quarterback, but unfortunately, I don't think it has anything to do with Josh Allen. I don't think it has anything to do with their talent. I just think the Buffalo Bills organization as a whole will never get over that hump. Um, if we get to where we are now, where the Ravens have a shot to play the Chiefs, I think the Ravens are going to want that rematch so badly that they are going to play to get into that rematch from last year in the AFC Championship. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Noah here. First time agreeing with Noah. Yeah, I'm taking the Ravens. Um, this is probably gonna be the closest divisional round game in my opinion, and against two MVP candidates this year. I'm just gonna take the team that with the best team overall at this point, and I think the Ravens are.
Okay. All right. Well, we've got the Ravens moving forward then in another split vote here. This time I am on the minority side of it. But that'll set up an AFC Conference Championship there. We'll come back to that after we set up the NFC one here. We're gonna go to the Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings game here. Um, yeah, I mean, we saw them play this past weekend, and Detroit had their way with them. And we saw that on display in that game for sure. A little bit of a slow start to that game, but after Detroit kind of got rolling, it was really just all Lions from there, and they looked like the better team that night. Now, theoretically, this will only be 2 weeks after that, so you would say for the most part that it's probably there's not going to be a whole lot of room for changing in terms of Minnesota like game planning for this specific scenario, unless Detroit is still using a lot of the stuff that they're doing, or they picked up on a lot of stuff in that film when they go back and watch that game on repeat. I don't know if there'll be a whole lot of that, but I mean, yeah, it just really comes down to what I saw this past weekend. I don't see a whole lot changing in that 2 week span between these two teams. I think Detroit looks amazing this year. Yeah, and I think they're gonna find their way here to the NFC Conference Championship. I'm gonna go Detroit as my vote in this game.
I'm going to go between Detroit and the Rams, which is what's going to happen. The Lions are going to win either way, even though they're playing Minnesota, which I don't think is going to be there. I still think the Lions are going to win and make it to the NFC Championship. I think that the Lions are the best team in football right now. I think if they lose, they're going to shoot themselves in their own foot, and it's going to be a crazy Dan Campbell call, but I think he's starting to cool down a little bit after kind of the heat he's been getting with some crazy calls. And I think he's still playing that reckless but also solid football. I think the Lions are the team to beat right now, and I'm going to take the Lions.
Yeah, but take the Lions too. I mean, they're the scariest team I've ever watched this season, and their offense is just insanely crazy with how crazy the play calling has been with Ben Johnson. The only thing I would have to say, like, is their kryptonite would be their defense, which they do have a lot of injuries there, but they've still held their own with how many injuries they've encountered with the defense. But they do get David Montgomery back this divisional round, I believe, so they're going to have both Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs back and ready to roll. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Lions here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll see there, but another 3-0 sweep here for us in this game. So we've got the Lions moving on to the conference chip, and then this last game, it's that dreaded matchup that you do not want to see as an Eagles fan. Yeah, it feels like it's always a great game between these two. I mean, they get a lot of primetime games because their games are always really fun to watch, and we see displays of both of these teams here. I'm torn on this one as well, just because of that almost like a mental that Tampa Bay has on the Eagles. But man, I do believe in the Eagles this year. I think they match up well in this scenario. We may see like somewhat of an offensive shootout here, depending on what Tampa Bay comes out with, and what they're looking like. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this shorter so that Nick can explain a little bit more after Noah gives his piece. But I'm gonna go with the Eagles for my pick.
Yeah, I'll go with the Eagles as well. I'll keep it short. Like I said, I still don't think the Eagles are going to make it this far. If they beat the Packers, though, I do think they will make it to the NFC Championship just because, like I said, in my eyes, the Eagles are either a first round out or they're going all the way team. So if in the bracket, if this ends up being the case, whether they end up playing the Bucks or they playing the Commanders, I do think the Eagles will go to the uh, NFC Championship if they make it to this round.
Yeah, and surprisingly, I'm gonna take the Eagles here as well. I know this is a dreaded matchup. This is like one of the worst case scenarios for us. But we have played in Tampa Bay the past couple times we played them. And so this time we get to host them finally in Philadelphia in a colder temperature weather. So it's going to be a different environment playing against them, but also we faced them early this season and before our bye week, and our defense has improved immensely after the bye week. So I think that we are capable of stopping Baker Mayfield in the offense. And I think that as long as we, stay heavy on relying on Saquon and then passing when we need to, I think we can get the job done here.
Okay. Well, we're going to have a 3-0 sweep here with this one as well in this NFC divisional round to set up the conference championships here, the final four semifinals that we have. Let's jump back over to the AFC here for their conference championship. We've got the Ravens versus the Chiefs. And I think for mine here, what I think is I'm going to pick or agree with Noah's Super Bowl pickups here. And I'm going to go with the Ravens here in this game. I think it's a rematch that the Ravens wanted. I agree with that. With that sentiment in general. And yeah, I think they come out hungry here to win this game. And like like I said, the Chiefs have kind of been like sloppy this year. And the Ravens are I don't know, they're a team that is gonna capitalize on any opportunity of sloppiness, if that makes sense. And so yeah, I definitely see the Ravens coming out here in this game and matching up well against the Chiefs. I think Lamar gets his get back in this game, turns into playoff Lamar. This is if this is obviously I picked the Bills to be in this situation, but if Lamar is in this situation here, I'm gonna go with Lamar. This feels like a run year for him. Mahomes is having not his greatest year in terms statistically. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's experience there with multiple Super Bowl wins under the belt, but I think this is Lamar's year. If this matchup does pan out, and I'm gonna go with the Ravens for my vote pick here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I have a feeling that Nick might say Chiefs just because he's a conspiracy theorist and he thinks that the Chiefs might win the whole thing again. But I'm going to go Ravens because I genuinely believe that Lamar. I think this is going to be the AFC Championship. On the other side of the bracket, I do have different teams in there maybe, but I think for sure this is the AFC Championship, and I think Lamar is going to get his get back, kind of like you said, and I think he's going to give himself at least a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs here. I really want the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that would be like my pick to go to the Super Bowl. But it's the Chiefs. I am a conspiracy theorist, and you know how much I dread the Chiefs. Noah can share my pain too. I mean, both of our teams lost to them in the Super Bowl.
My team's lost twice to them in the Super Bowl, and I will say, like, I know it's like kind of almost a joke, but halfway serious at the same time. I mean, because I really look at this stuff because I'm a 49ers fan. There was so many holds that were not called against us, against our defensive line. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, genuinely, I mean, you could YouTube it right now and find like 7-8 clips, like just easily, of holding on the line, and that's not even showing the backfield, or we're up the field where their corners or safeties could be getting a little handsy. But I mean, it's unbelievable how many calls they get. But I still think it's the Ravens. But I do agree with you, Nick. It really is unbelievable.
I mean, it's crazy. You can just simply look up refs favoring the Chiefs, and you'll find tons of videos on social media. But I have to go realistic, and I have to go with the conspiracy theories. I'm a conspiracy theorist on the Chiefs, so yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs here, unfortunately.
Okay, okay. I mean, I would not be surprised. I'll say that. I would not be surprised if we see the Chiefs voodoo magic here power through and come out victorious. But for the sake of the vote here, me and Noah are gonna go with the Ravens, so we'll advance them here into the Super Bowl from the AFC side, and then let's look at the NFC here. Eagles versus Lions, and I think this will be a good game. I mean, it's the 1 seed versus the 2 seed finally meeting here in the conference championship. I do agree with Noah. I think the Lions are the best team in football here. I think the Eagles are probably, the second best team in that NFC, and so I think this is a true NFC championship here, where I could honestly see either of those teams winning. Detroit will have home field advantage because I mean obviously they're the higher seed here, but and so yeah, I think having that home field advantage, having your crowd behind you, I mean Detroit, the state of Michigan, hasn't seen an NFL team be as good as Detroit has been in until recent years here, last year and this year. And yeah, I'm gonna say having that home field advantage in that conference championship against the Eagles, I'm gonna go with the Lions here if I had to pick two. But I think again this will be a very close one between those. But I'm gonna lock in Detroit.
I do want to say I'm going to go with the Lions, but I do quickly want to say if my picks ended up being correct for this lower side of the bracket, I will be having the Lions playing the Commanders in the NFC Championship, which I know sounds crazy, but when it happens, you can text me and say, I'm sorry. I didn't believe you. I can't believe the Commanders made it this far, but it doesn't matter because the Lions are going to be going to the Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, so I'll just pick the Eagles here just to give a different perspective. I mean, I already lost a 2-1 majority vote, but I think the Eagles have the better defense. So that's what it's going to come down to. And, the Lions, they love to run a lot of misdirection plays and a lot of hook and ladder and all that. I think the Eagles have been very disciplined under Vic Fangio. And so this is really going to be like, if it comes down to this in the NFC Conference Championship, this is going to be probably one of the best games we've seen. And it all comes down to, like, I think turnovers at this point, like who can make the defensive play to win the game.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I could honestly see either of these teams winning here for sure. Yeah, we'll go with the Lions here in terms of our 2-1 vote, but we'll see. I do agree it's going to be a really crazy game. I think this game and then the Ravens Bills games are two that I'm seeing here in this bracket that I think will be the craziest for sure so far. But the craziest of them all.
Quickly, I think for this vote it should go me, Nick, then you. So if me and Nick are split, since this is your podcast, you get the final decision on who you think's winning it.
Okay, you guys go.
Okay, we'll start off. So we'll do the little introduction. So in our bracket, we have the Lions and the Ravens in the Super Bowl. Now, I am a firm believer that this year, like I said, the Lions are the team to beat. I'm a firm believer that the Lions are going to be the team that takes it away. Though I will make a very strong case for the Ravens. Lamar at this point, he's proven himself to be an elite quarterback in this league. He's been scary. And if he makes it this far, I mean, I don't think he's just going to sit back and let the Lions take it from him. Because, I mean, Lamar, as his own person, has been kind of chasing this longer than the Lions, like, being good in these recent years have. I mean, obviously, the Lions have always been, every team's goal is to, kind of shoot for that Super Bowl. But, Lamar has really been chasing. I mean, he's talked about how he wants it. He needs it bad. I still think it's going to be the Lions, but I could see the Ravens taking it away and Lamar having one of the greatest seasons in NFL history. But Lions.
Yeah, I mean, if it is the Ravens and the Lions we get in the Super Bowl this year, this is going to probably be one of the most highest totaled games in terms of points. And so I am going to make things more difficult on Sam here, and I am going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to Anthony. So if you're watching this, smash the like button and make sure you leave a comment. But yeah, I mean, like Noah said, Lamar is having a special season, and I think this is the year that Lamar finally turns it up in the playoffs and has, that that boulder on his shoulder, as some would say. And so the Lions are the scariest team in the NFL, but I think that Lamar overcomes that, and I think they take home the Super Bowl here.
Okay, okay. Well, it is difficult on me indeed here. We've got the Lions on one hand, and we've got the Ravens on the other hand here. Um, it is. I agree. This might be the one of the craziest games we've seen. This is also America's Super Bowl. I remember seeing graphics last year of like when the conference championships were happening. Everybody wanted this to happen. So I don't know if this will actually happen. We may be picking on a pipe dream here. But if it does, I think we're gonna have a great game. Ratings will be crazy. And it's gonna be very exciting here. As for the actual teams themselves, I think the Lions, like I said, are the best team in the league objectively. I think right now, if we have to pick a team that's firing on a lot of cylinders, right now, I mean, Nick, I know you know that you mentioned that defense is a little bit injured, but offensively wise and just coaching wise, I think the Lions are the best team. Now, when we look at the Ravens, though, I do want to mention a statistic here that is something that I think cannot be ignored. Every 12 years, the Ravens, for the last 25 years, have won the Super Bowl every 12 years with a 28-year-old quarterback while scoring 34 points in the Super Bowl.
Conspiracy
So,
theorist.
right now, Lamar Jackson happens to be 28 years old and will be playing in the Super Bowl against the Detroit Lions. So I'm going to have to go strictly on that fact alone that the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl here, scoring 34 points in this game and beating the Detroit Lions. I don't know how much the Lions are going to score, but I think the Ravens win this Super Bowl here against them if they make it. Like I said, I think this feels like a run year for Lamar, and if he can get there, I don't see him choking in the Super Bowl. I think he rises up to the moment, and I'm gonna go with Lamar and the Ravens winning the Super Bowl if he gets to this scenario here. I know that's gonna make Anthony really happy to hear that come out of my mouth if he's listening right now. But that's just what I think. So I'm gonna seal off this 2-1 vote here and lock in the Baltimore Ravens as our Super Bowl champs here for this. So we've got the Ravens winning it all here. Thoughts, guys? What do we think about this bracket?
I agree with the two teams in the Super Bowl. I still, like I said, I think the Lions are going to take it away, but I think you guys messed up the NFC. I will just say, I genuinely believe that the Commanders are going to make an NFC Championship run, and I think the Rams are going to be playing the Lions, which I think, if the Rams play the Lions, I think there's a chance that the Rams beat them in that game. I still think the Lions are going to win. I think, obviously, I mean, like you said, the Vikings can watch that film over and over and over, but I don't know if it'll help them that much. I just think the NFC playoffs would be a lot more fun and entertaining, at least, if it was, the Rams going through, in my opinion, and the Commanders going through. You can make a argument that it's more fun with the Eagles in there. I just think the Packers are going to steal that. But AFC side looks magnificent in my eyes. I mean, it's perfect. Every team I thought was going to win went, but the NFC, you guys were going a little crazy on the NFC on me. I think I went 0 for 3 in that wild card round down there.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with mostly everything except for the Chargers-Houston game and the Eagles, Detroit, and Baltimore Chiefs in the conference championship. I think the Chiefs will make it to the Super Bowl regardless, and it's a flip coin between Eagles and Lions for me for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I think a lot of stuff here could go either way. I mean, I got outvoted in the Ravens Bills vote. There, I could see the Bills going and making a run to the Super Bowl this year, just the same as the Ravens did, and going on and winning it. And also, when we disputed with Nick there in that Ravens versus Kansas City game, even if it was the Bills there in that game, I could totally and 100% see the Chiefs finding a way to win that game, whether that be through crazy shit happening or the refs helping them out. I don't know. I could totally see the Chiefs still making it into the Super Bowl here. So yeah, I mean, I think to address the NFC side, I just I will agree. I think I could easily see the Rams beating the beating the Vikings. I just don't see them making it past Detroit. So I don't know if that matters a whole lot, but I just really do not see the Eagles losing to the Packers, and I just think that the way that they've been playing, they'll go on ahead and make a run. I do agree though. I could also see the Commanders beating the Buccaneers to go with you, Noah. So those are the only other thing. Those are the only things that I like don't agree with this bracket. But I mean that's why we did a combined one here to get all of our opinions and hopefully get the super bracket here, the God bracket. And I'll see if I can sign in to submit this. We may pick every matchup correctly between the three of us. Who knows? So yeah, but I'll be excited to see how everything pans out here on this. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. Gonna be a fun playoffs here to watch. It starts on what, Saturday, the 11th here. So two
Steelers and
days.
Ravens.
Yeah. Two days from now. So um, gonna be crazy weekend in general that we've got coming up ahead here. I'm just gonna kind of jump into our outro here because this was really the only thing that we had to talk about here today. Unless you guys wanted to add something else relating to the NFL here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say one more quick word. I really had a fun time doing this, and I like our bracket. But I will go ahead and say congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs on winning the Super Bowl this year. Um, I know, like, it was really fun for us to kind of, have two, America's teams in there and have a nice, fun Super Bowl. But man, Patrick Mahomes, you're just trying to beat Tom Brady as the GOAT, and I'm glad you picked up another Super Bowl. But we didn't want you to.
Yep,
Sure.
I'm gonna whatever Noah just said, I will say right now. So
Yeah, I mean, being realistic, that's probably the case. But one can hope for a more exciting finish to the season, and we are definitely some of those people hoping that. But it's been cool to do this. We'll see how these pick out. You know what? I'm gonna take a screenshot of this here. Um, 1 second. Grab a screenshot of our Super Bowl bracket. Let's go on ahead and get this off to this screen. Um, it looks good. It looks good. It would be cool if it played out this way, but we'll see. But that was fun. Let's just jump into the conclusion, talk about what's coming up here. I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit different of an episode that we had today. This was cool to do and kind of freestyle. Didn't have a whole lot of notes, like I said, about what exactly we're gonna talk about. Just kind of, shot the shit here with Noah and Nick and got into things here. But we have coming up, obviously, these first round wild card matchups this weekend. We also this weekend have the college football playoff semifinals. We actually have one tonight, as on the day of recording this, and hopefully we can get this uploaded before that game is out. But tonight here, Thursday, we've got the Notre Dame versus Penn State game, and
One,
then
two,
tomorrow.
three, four lost.
What's that?
Isn't it 1, 2, 3, 4 lost? First, everybody who had
Yeah.
a bye lost.
Yeah. Everybody got about.
There
Yeah,
you go.
we haven't talked about it actually. Let me get your guys' predictions here for the two semifinal games tonight. Let's see. We've got the Notre Dame Penn State game tonight. What are you guys thinking here on this? Because I didn't get a chance to get your guys' predictions.
I'm going to keep riding with what I'm writing. I hate Notre Dame. I think they're frauds. I thought they were going to lose the first round. I thought they were going to lose to Georgia. Like, I'm still not going with them. I think Penn State is unfortunately going to get, the way into into a championship. And I don't think Penn State even deserves to be there. But I don't believe in Notre Dame. I think Penn State's easily going to take this one. I mean, like I said, if Notre Dame somehow wins, I still am not going to believe in them in the championship. If they still win the whole thing, I don't know. I mean, I'll have to do something crazy. I mean, I won't believe it. I'll think I'm in an alternate reality. At Notre Dame are frauds.
yeah, I'm not too well versed in the college football area, but I have been also a Notre Dame disbeliever.
I'm a hater.
He's a hater. I'm a disbeliever. So there's levels to this, but I don't know. I mean, I have to get your opinion, Sam, but I think that just based off of just pure gut, I think I have to go Notre Dame. I think I just been doubting them too much at this point.
Oh my gosh!
I'm
Don't
telling
say
you.
it, Sam.
I said it on the last podcast, so they've already heard my take on it. But yeah, I mean, you keep disbelieving in Notre Dame. This team is going to go to the national championship.
Oh, they're
Uh,
not.
they are on such a run here. This Penn State team is so one-dimensional in terms of offense, and realistically, I think both of these teams kind of are. I don't think their offenses are firing on the same levels that like Texas and Ohio State's are. Um, but I don't know. I think Notre Dame. We just got to keep believing in them. As somebody who's been saying they're gonna win the past two rounds, I'm going Notre Dame here. I think they're on too much of a run. They haven't lost since the NIU, and yeah, I mean, I'll keep it short just because I already gave my thoughts on it. But we'll see. I mean, Noah might be right, and we'll get a Penn State into the college football playoff final. But we'll see there. And then, I mean, obviously we've got Ohio State versus Texas. What do you
Ohio
guys
State.
What are you guys thinking
Ohio
here?
State. The fact that Ohio State has turned it around. I said if they beat Oregon, I will believe them to win the whole thing, and I'm now with them. I still don't like Ryan Day, but this Ohio State team, I think it's more credit to the players. Where is Will Howard, and what did he do to our quarterback? He's been playing insane. I think Ohio State is going to be our national champion. I mean, Ohio State is unbelievable. Texas, Arizona, very sloppy game. Neither of them looked real good. And Ohio State came out and showed the world why we talk about them and why they are a top team every single year.
Yeah, I think it's quite easy for Ohio State just to win the Natty at this point. I mean, they decimated the best team in the playoffs probably, and now they get to face the Texas, who have not been looking all that great. You know what I mean? And then in the Natty, they get to either play Penn State or Notre Dame, which
Go
they've
play
already
Penn
beat
State.
Penn State. Yeah, I mean, this is just I think this is a cakewalk for Ohio State unless they like have self-inflicted wounds at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's who I picked, obviously. So I think Ohio State comes through, runs with this game here. It probably is the last hurt. Well, I don't know. I could see them losing to any of the three teams remaining still if they have, like you were talking about with your Eagles, self-inflicted wounds. But with the way they've been playing anything at all like they did the past two, Ohio State's gonna move on and they're gonna win the Natty. If it's Penn State or Notre Dame, I don't care. They're gonna win it. Regardless, they're gonna win this game and they're gonna win the Natty.
Can I
So
um can I ask you a couple questions real quick?
yeah, sure.
No.
Well, do you have okay? So the Notre Dame and Penn State total is 45.5 line. What do you have over under on that?
If I had to go, I go under on that.
Okay. Yeah,
Personally,
that's what's favored right now, -120.
yeah, I'd go under with that game.
And then OSU. Okay, yeah, no, what would you
I go over because Notre Dame's not going to score and Penn State's going to put up 50. Genuinely. I mean, seriously, let's be realistic. Notre Dame are frauds, guys. It's just a matter of tonight. They're going to be exposed tonight.
Yeah, and so OSU and Texas, the line set at 53.5. What do you got over under?
Under.
53.5.
Yeah. I was leaning over.
I go over. I go over for this one.
53.5.
I mean, what is that, like
over?
27-27?
Yeah.
If they were to be in a close game. And I mean, Ohio State's gone over. You know?
I mean, I last week it was like I think 55.5 versus Oregon. I put the over.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
like,
didn't.
I mean, Ohio State's gonna put up 40 points if they keep playing like they did. So I mean,
Yeah.
there's 40 from them alone. It's a matter of if they're blowing out Texas or not. The only time is if Texas just comes out and drops an absolute goose egg, then it won't go over. But I think I'd like to think I have a little bit of respect for Texas. At least they won't come in and let that happen in a college football playoff semifinal. But so I would take the over in that.
Yeah, I would take the over too, I think. Not sponsored by FanDuel, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bet MGM.
All right. Well, yeah, that's our college football playoff, but we got that game tonight, and well, we got the Notre Dame game tonight, and then Ohio State tomorrow, to see what our college football playoff championship will look like. So that's another thing happening this weekend. Obviously, we got the NFL playoffs, and then we've got the CDL Minor One tournament this week online, starting tomorrow. Obviously, it doesn't really affect you guys, but that will be happening. So I will definitely be talking about that before you guys join me next week. So we're gonna have a really, really long episode next week. Definitely, this is probably the most eventful weekend of the things that I cover here on the Killstreaks and Kickoffs podcast. So it's going to be pretty long, but hopefully stay tuned for that, and that'll be exciting to talk about that. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much everything. Of course, follow the pod on Spotify, Killstreaks and Kickoffs podcast. If you just look that up, you'll be able to find it. It'll be linked in the description below, alongside all of my other socials. And hey, do you guys want to shout out any socials that you want me to link in the description?
Nah, bro. I'm cool, bro. I like to be low key, bro.
Joker?
Yeah, you can go ahead and follow my link my main Instagram page. I think you have my account, but it'll be down in the description below. And I hope everyone enjoyed. Please leave a like. Oh, also comment down below your Super Bowl predictions.
Yeah.
And maybe we can have a conversation about that.
We'll like any ones that we think are a good possibility.
Yeah, and then we'll ignore whatever
we think is
sucks.
terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty much everything. Well, thank you everybody for watching this. I hope you enjoyed, like I said, a little bit different episode, and we will be back again next week to be reviewing everything that we've been talking about and how the bracket's looking and all that good stuff for college football, NFL, and Call of Duty League. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out. Take care.
Bury me now, and I only get bigger, that's word of my nigga. Yeah, October firm in the cut. Stay at the top like I'm stuck. It's time giving it up. She wanna get married tonight, but I can't take a nigga, I'm wearing all white.